He'd been right all the time.
What's going on, guys? Hope you're all doing well. So, Sam Neill, Laura Dern, and Jeff Goldblum have just appeared as their iconic characters from Jurassic Park again in 2026 for a brand new Super Bowl commercial. Taika Waititi helped make this advertisement that pretty much teaches the idea of what the park would look like if it hadn't failed. And I want to talk about both that and the idea of these actors reprising their roles in a future movie.
It's 33 years since we shot the first one, so...
Now, this commercial had to be pretty expensive because they used a lot of digital de-aging techniques that I think either involved AI or CGI to some extent. And some of it looks way better than some of the other stuff in the ad, but honestly, the fact that Universal has decided to go ahead and use the original Jurassic Park cast once again, only 3 years after Dominion, is kind of an interesting fact. So, this advertisement we're talking about is for the Super Bowl, obviously, and it's basically just trying to get you to sign up for Xfinity. But in all honesty, it's always fun to see Dr. Alan Grant, Ellie Sattler, and Ian Malcolm, no matter what's going on. Personally, this whole thing surprised me the most just by how much footage they used for the actors and how Jurassic Park and its original 1993 aesthetic is still super popular with the general movie-going public. Now that Jurassic World Rebirth has come and gone, the franchise is clearly still profitable, but I can't help but wonder what things would look like if they just focused on the characters from the original movie and put them in meaningful roles again with a solid script. I've gone out of my way in the past to explain just how disappointed I was in Jurassic World Dominion, but I can't lie and say that I wouldn't love to see all of these actors return in a future Jurassic Park movie done really well. Now, the commercial pretty much just features everyone joking around about how Jurassic Park would have been awesome to visit if the issue with the power and control didn't happen, which ironically, I just rewatched Jurassic Park today with my wife, so the movie is like super fresh in my mind, and I gotta say, yeah, I'd love to see everyone return yet again in a future film. And I think the fact that Universal gave the go-ahead for the likenesses of Alan Grant, Ellie Sattler, and Ian Malcolm is actually a good sign, and it's kind of weird. We really should talk about that because it's still a possibility to get a movie like this, and it's one that I would not be shocked if they were testing the waters out again to see if that's what people still wanted to see. I know the commercial is more or less just a joke for Wi-Fi, but still, wouldn't it be great to actually get an incredible sequel to the first movie that had all three of these actors return and do something legitimately great? Of course, modern movies are not very good, and most of the sequels to legendary franchises have kind of fallen flat. And you know, you've heard me say that before in the past, but I've also been someone that has just always just given my own opinion no matter what it might be, and I'm gonna say it again, I just watched Jurassic Park today. I want to see a really good sequel to the first movie, and I want to see Alan Grant, Ellie Sattler, and Ian Malcolm in that movie. And for the rest of this video, I'm going to genuinely entertain that idea and talk about what I really think Universal could do with this franchise and the original actors returning for a future movie. Back in the 90s, Jurassic Park had a lot of tie-in material that came out in support of the first film, and some of that material came in the form of sequel stories that were set directly after that legendary 1993 incident. Now, obviously, you can't really do that extensively because it's been like 33 years since the original Jurassic Park, but you could definitely do small flashback scenes intercut with new modern age stuff that had everyone interacting with a new story set now in the present time. Still, ideas like the return to Jurassic Park, the chaos continues, and even the abandoned animated series that was going to be called Escape from Jurassic Park are all pieces of media that feature Grant, Sattler, and Malcolm heavily, and they're all ideas that rely a lot on the iconography, aesthetic, and just scientific intrigue of the original Jurassic Park movie. You know, guys, initially there were ideas to include Dr. Malcolm meeting back up with Alan Grant in a bar while they were spitballing ideas for the Lost World, and in a really cool scene we would have seen a PTSD styled Alan Grant telling Ian Malcolm that he, quote, can't go back, you can never go back, and he's kind of drunk at the bar and Malcolm is looking looking at him like, I've got to go to Site B, or I've got to go do whatever I have to do. And Grant is just like tormented by the trauma that he's faced on Isla Nublar. And that, whatever reason he was going to Site B, it was going to be a terrible idea to Dr. Alan Grant. That whole idea had this sort of ominous warning styled thematic element to it that it just sounds so cool for a follow-up to the first movie. Laura Dern was kind of bummed out that she wasn't invited back for the Lost World Jurassic Park, and I think Sam Neill probably felt the same way, but still, that idea to actually make a sequel to the first movie, while obviously still remaining canon to all of these other films, is such a novel one to me that I think most people would say they actually would really want to see it on only one condition. And that is that it actually be a genuinely good Jurassic Park movie. It's been done before, in my personal opinion. I really like Clint Eastwood's Sudden Impact. Rocky Balboa, obviously, is a great movie. And Logan. How could you not like Logan? But you don't have to go that rated R or serious. You just need to do something that feels like an authentic sequel for the character. And characters in this regard. Also, plot lines that feature run-ins with Biosyn, dinosaurs on the mainland, Michael Crichton's source material in a more safari-driven action focus that looks like the palm tree or fern aesthetic from Jurassic Park 1. Those are all things that movie fans would almost inarguably love to see as long as it's done well. Imagine a story that cuts back between 1994 and 2026, or whatever current year it might end up being. One part with the actors going over their survival of the initial park and the fallout that would result from it. Ian Malcolm's ridicule from the public after he claimed dinosaurs were alive and killing people, like what we see people making fun of him with in The Lost World. The disintegration of Ellie Sattler and Dr. Alan Grant's relationship, as well as the actual real canon stuff like the 1994 cleanup operation on Isla Nublar that went down in the movie series lore. Or better yet, modern portions of a story that involves dinosaur ideas that were in the books but never in the movies. Show something like the DX disease, the raptors that were born in the wild's initial escape on the mainland, or even the idea of tying it into a modern story where the dinosaurs are wreaking havoc on everyday life. It doesn't have to be all coexistence peace like what Dominion ended on. The possibilities are endless, and all you really have to do is try and tell a legitimately good story that takes itself seriously, which admittedly this commercial does not do, but that's beside the point. Sam Neill, Laura Dern, and Jeff Goldblum have all said yes to coming back for this commercial. They said yes to coming back to Dominion, and other actors like Julianne Moore from The Lost World have also expressed interest into returning to the franchise if they were ever given the call back. So why not just do something like this? Make a Jurassic Park sequel that takes itself very seriously. Get someone to write the movie that will actually treat these characters and the canon and the events with a sense of reverence and love, and try to make a movie that people are really gonna like. I think a lot of people may say something like, oh no, it can't be done, they don't like any of the Jurassic Park sequels, but I really don't believe it's impossible. I mean, I don't think all the sequels are terrible. I think that's kind of like a scapegoat weird excuse to just pass off everything. In fact, the Lost World Jurassic Park, I will always say, is incredible. But again, I just rewatched Jurassic Park today, and the idea of a movie that features all three of these leads dealing with the fallout from the first film's events, it's super intriguing to me, and it's also very weird that it's never been done before. Also, Universal is working with Saber right now on Jurassic Park Survival, which literally takes place right after, like a day after the original 1993 movie. So to say that they are not very interested in doing something like this is a lie. I mean, they got David Koepp back to write Jurassic World Rebirth. They rushed the movie, but I don't think it's the worst Jurassic Park movie by any stretch of the imagination, and it just got nominated for an Oscar. Why not bring these guys back to do a sequel and make it really cool, Dark Knight style? Why not? I know there's been a lot of dialogue over Jurassic World Dominion and why that movie didn't work for so many people, and I told you guys I'm one of them, but I honestly think that the idea to bring these characters back in a Jurassic Park story can still be done very well, and honestly, if Universal's playing with the idea to do it, they should probably do it as soon as possible. I love Sam Neill, Laura Dern, and Jeff Goldblum. They're incredible actors. I love these characters. Bring them back. Rebirth has been a pretty good success, and while it's always cool to see dinosaurs attack people, I think dealing with the continuity continuity that is shown with Alan Grant, Ellie Sattler, and Ian Malcolm is always what people want to see the most. I mean, what the world happened between Jurassic Park 1 and 3? I mean, Alan Grant pretty much had a character arc where he enjoys spending time with children, and in Jurassic Park 3, he is no longer with Ellie. She has an entire family of her own. Like, what happened in between those two movies? I mean, it's just weird. Of course, there's talk of Owen Grady and Claire Dearing being important parts as well, and I completely understand that, but there's so much potential for a Jurassic Park sequel that actually deals with the trauma and scares of these people dealing with dinosaurs all over the world that I think could be a slam dunk if done right. Anyways, guys, these are all just my own thoughts and opinions on the subject matter. What do you think? Should Sam Neill, Laura Dern, and Jeff Goldblum actually return in a movie that takes itself seriously as a sequel to Jurassic Park? Or is this just a fun little commercial and should we just leave it at that? I've given my own thoughts. I think if they take it seriously, they get a legitimately good written script that's just good all around. I mean, they have somebody go through it and like, yep, that's awesome. Do it, why not? But hey, whatever your own opinions happen to be, I'd love to hear all about them in the comments down below. Now, before I go, I want to thank everyone that's helped me build my channel over the years. I'd also like to thank every one of you guys who've watched my stuff. You've all been extremely cool to me. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate a like and hope that you'll consider subscribing. God bless you all. Christ is King. See you guys in the next video, and as always, take it easy.